on the line by Aaron Brooks, a professional basketball player who spent many a year in the NBA, who played for the Houston Rockets, Phoenix Suns, Chicago Bulls, Denver Nuggets, Indiana Pacers and Minnesota Timberwolves. And some of the highlights of Aaron Brooks' career: in 2009 in the Western Conference semi-finals, he scored his career high 34 points in Game 4 versus the Los Angeles Lakers. On January the 13th, 2010, he scored 43 points in a triple overtime win versus Minnesota Timberwolves. And on March the 17th, 2010, he scored 7 out of 7 3-pointers against the Memphis Grizzlies. And Aaron, if I can start off by asking you this sort of question. You would have played in a time in the NBA when you first arrived with the Houston Rockets, when you were drafted, when you went to number 26 pick back in 2007. There wasn't really as much of what we call, say, dominated franchises where teams are putting all-stars together. So how important this year was it in the NBA that the Toronto Raptors stopped the 3 in a row chasing Golden State Warriors, just for basketball in general?
Well, I think it was great for basketball in general. Kawhi, is the leader of the team, but what they didn't do was go out and get a bunch of stars, like you said. Kawhi, they play great team basketball. And, team basketball is always going to overtake any other type of basketball, individual type basketball. So it was good to see them win. Toronto, Canada, it's good to see them get a victory finally. And, Toronto kind of reminded me of the Dallas Mavericks when they were playing against Miami.
Yep.
And, they were just clicking and they were playing well together. And it was good for the game of basketball, for sure.
Yeah, and I suppose, Aaron, we've seen the game of NBA sort of transition to a more sort of fast-flowing sort of 3-point sort of game, where beyond the arc now you really all 5 starting players really need to have a 3-point game, and there's sort of evolution away from, we do still have the dominant big men in the NBA like Joel Embiid and Andre Drummond and Antonio Davis, but it's very important that all players now on a starting team need to be able to hit outside that 3-point line.
I mean, I guess, most teams feel that way. They want all 5 guys to shoot threes. Not everybody's like that. Embiid, like you said, can shoot threes and sometimes get out there. Drummond isn't one. He stays in the paint. I think there's ways to skin the cat right now. The fad is to have 5 guys shooting threes. And it only takes a couple guys to win games, or it takes a team that utilizes the post to win championships for the whole philosophy to change the basketball. So, I've been in it enough to see the swings and see how things change. And, right now it's just a period of run and gun and 2 threes, but that comes from, having Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and the Splash Brothers and the Warriors made everybody feel like they had to go out there and shoot more threes so they can put up enough points to beat those guys, and it's been translated throughout basketball all over the world. But, If another shot comes through, and you gotta throw the ball to him, and I don't think Draymond's gonna be able to guard another shot. So I think the NBA is just missing, the basketball world is missing this one dominant big player that can't be guarded by a hybrid 5. And then the game will go back to normal.
Yeah, and I suppose, Aaron, as well, especially in the Eastern Conference this year, we saw as you mentioned, we saw the breakout of Philly in relation to get their draft picks came to prominent. The years where Philadelphia were below on the bottom end of the NBA and getting the number 1 draft picks, they came to sort of fruition this year with the acquisition of Jimmy Butler on top of that. And obviously the team most people talked about was the story, apart from the Toronto Raptors, was the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo getting MVP, and really the Greek Freak, as they call him, was just a real sensation this year.
Yeah, man, it's been fun to watch his progression. Every year, the stuff that he's been having a knock on, he's worked on. You know what I mean? Like finishing in the hole, not getting charges, leading his team. It seems like he's improving every year, but his Achilles heel is still shooting. And I think he knows that now, and he felt like it was weird because I just seen the conversation he had was saying that, this offseason he worked hard. He said he was going to dunk on everybody. And when you get to the playoffs, I don't care how good you are, that's not possible. But you have to work on the skill work a little bit more, and I'm sure he's doing it. Learn how to run a team, and the difference between him and Kawhi is Kawhi was patient through 3 quarters. He took his time. When it was time for him to step up in the fourth, he did. And Giannis was, he was running, he was keeping his team in it for the first 3 quarters, but he couldn't close out games. So I think that's the next progression in him, and he should be able to do that next year.
Yeah, and I suppose as well, Aaron, we've seen the Boston Celtics go through a phase where they sort of were in a rebuilding mode, and it seemed that the rebuilding mode was beginning to take off this year, and now the news is broke that Kyrie Irving wants to go somewhere else, Al Horford wants to go somewhere else, and it almost seems like for all the strides Boston have made in the last 2 years, this could really let the ship sink almost on them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys that can play in the NBA. It's important for to be in the right system. I think Kawhi and LeBron just fit together. I mean, Kyrie Irving and LeBron fit together. What LeBron lacks is what Kyrie brings. So for me, I just think Boston was a little bit too much for him to control. Boston was it just was too much. I think I would refer to him as a Ferrari. Who really wants to drive a Ferrari every day? It's hard to do. You know what I mean? He was a nice compliment to LeBron, but it's not something that you just want to have every day as a point guard. And and I think he has to grow to that. He still has time to grow to that, but him by himself in Cleveland didn't work, and him by himself in Boston didn't work. So we'll see what's the next step for him, but I think him and LeBron is a great pair.
Yeah, and I suppose, Aaron, you had an awful lot of stable success with the Houston Rockets yourself, and looking at Houston now in the last 2 or 3 years, they're almost the sort of the bridesmaids of the NBA, always so close but never the bride. And it was evident this year. They've tried Dwight Howard, getting him in as a big man. It didn't work out. They tried Carmelo Anthony. That experiment didn't work out. Now James Harden, it's looking like they're trying to find someone to be the fall guy again at Houston, whether Chris Paul is or Eric Gordon or Clint Capella. Why do you think, in relation to Houston, that they've been so good as a dominant team through the league phase, and they always come up to the playoffs where it comes to the semi-final stage or conference final? They just seem to be lacking in something. And is it a process where Houston just need to find whatever that missing link is in the dressing room?
Yeah, I mean, they have a particular style of playing. They rely a lot on James. I like what they did the year before with Chris Paul, them taking turns. I think Chris Paul's game dropped off a little bit this year due to age and injuries and stuff like that. So, that was the difference between last year's team and this year's team. But, what do they need? They need a wing that can really shoot the ball and play defense. Tucker is great at it. But, even his defense and his mobility and his playmaking besides that is a little bit questionable. I like Gordon for them, but they need a taller wing as well. So, you kind of just scramble. James is a unique talent, but I would scramble the lineup. I like Capella staying, but he's a great piece to trade to try to get rid of Chris Paul if they have to. Get rid of that contract. But, with James, you just shuffle the pieces. You keep shuffling the pieces. He always makes the center look good. He made Olsic look good, Howard look good, Capella look good, even the boy that's with the Clippers now, Harold, he looks good too. So so that makes Capella, tradable, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next year. But as long as you have James, that's at least going to get you to the second round. Keep shuffling the pieces around him.
Yeah, and I suppose one of the other things, Aaron Brooks, is people are talking about next year and it as a team that could sort of break through, and they added maybe just late in the Christmas, they added Porzingis to their lineup, was the Dallas Mavericks, and they have an awful lot of cap space with Luka Doncic. I seen him up close playing myself when I was over in America, a terrific talent, and Luka Doncic, Porzingis, and there's talks maybe that Kemba Walker or Al Horford could join that franchise. So Dallas could be a team that could be making their way rapidly up the ladder in the NBA.
Yeah, the Raptors are. The Dallas is a good team. They always do a good job of getting great pieces. I think Porzingis, coming off his first year in the league, he had a great first round, so we're looking for him to make that next step. Luka has had a phenomenal rookie year. Just looking to make that step. I think you still need some more veteran guys that actually can still play, that can lead these guys into the right direction, so that they have good habits. But you can't be mad at Dallas. They always do a good job of bringing in free agents. Some of them work out, some of them don't. But they got a good young core. If they get Kemba, that'd be another guy. But you want to keep the ball in Luka's hands. So I don't know how much Kemba would help Dallas.
Yeah, and I suppose, Aaron Brooks, you were drafted yourself. You went as the number 26 pick, and we saw the NBA draft this year, Zion Williamson going one and the pieces that New Orleans acquired in relation to the trade with the Lakers. And we saw Atlanta Hawks taking two promising picks in the first, or to the top 10 draft as well. But we've seen over the NBA draft down through the years, the likes of Damian Lillard going at 17 or 19, and we've seen players go further, and they actually emerge as better players than the top 5 or 6. I always remember Anthony Bennett going as number 1 pick for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that unfortunately for Anthony didn't work out. And the NBA draft, as you know yourself, being in it, what's that process like when you think you are a better player, as you are when you went 26, and you see players going at 8 or 9 or 10, and you feel, I'm a better player than these guys? Are you just happy to get drafted overall, and does that position, whether you go first round or second round, does it really matter at that age?
For some, I'm sure it do matter. For the guys that know they're going to be picked in the top 10, I'm sure they get, probably a little upset if they slide a little bit. I know for me, I didn't go into the draft with any expectations. 26 was, a shock to me, you know what I'm saying? But if I would have went second round, I just would have been happy personally that I got drafted. I think when you do get drafted, though, being in a good situation can make you look better than you really are, and make people look worse than they really are. So it's all about when you're drafted. If the coaches, if the GM drafts you and the coach don't like you, that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? If the coach likes you and the GM drafts you, that could be a problem too. So there's a lot of variables that go with it. But the best thing you can do is stay humble. Listen to the coaches and try to work your butt off and do whatever you can to remain on the floor.
Yeah, and I suppose Aaron Brooks, when you look at the Chicago Bulls now, and when you were playing with the Bulls were a prominent team. They were dominant. Yourself and Jimmy Butler were there, and you're on a bit of a roll. And to see the current situation now with the Chicago Bulls as an ex-player, does it start to fill you with sort of disappointment where the franchise is at the moment? And I know Chris Dunn and Zach LaVine are there at the moment, but Chicago, it's a sort of a sleeping giant. And as an ex-player, have you any hopes that the franchise will take the steps forward in the next year or so, or do you think these are worrying times for Chicago Bulls?
No disrespect with the fans or anything like that. The city of Chicago, the fans is cool. But am I disappointed in the way things? No, because I'm a Sonics fan. I'm disappointed there's no Sonics anymore. That's what I'm biggest disappointed. As far as their team, I think that the management, GMs, all that needs to be held accountable. You know what I mean? For the coaches they hired, for the players they got rid of, for how players were treated when they was there, to the players they acquired from trades. You know what I mean? They just got Cameron Payne, let him go. They gave a first-round pick for that. So they just been making some bad decisions lately, and unless that is addressed, then they're still going to continue down the same path.
And I suppose, Aaron, just in recent times you were playing with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and you got to play. You were playing in the training every day with Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew sort of Wiggins. There was a time when Minnesota looked like they could be a real playoff sort of team, but then Jimmy Butler sort of left them, which sort of kickstalled that sort of progress. But working with playing there yourself beside Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins, there's some real quality players. And what experience were you able to distill on those young lads?
Just growth, man. You know, they haven't been to the playoffs before we got there. They haven't been there in 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
So they wouldn't know what it's like to win because they're used to like losing in the NBA. You know, so you know when me and Jimmy and Taj and a couple guys came, just trying to teach them what it takes every day in practice to become great or to be a playoff contender. And you know what I'm saying? And some of them got it, and I think Cat, you know, still have some development to do. He's a unique talent, can do it all. He just has to make that next step and become a leader, and I think he's trying to do that. And Wiggins, he has all the talent in the world. Just waiting for him to show it every day in practice and in game.
Yeah, and I suppose, Aaron Brooks, you're making an exciting adventure for yourself now. You're going off to Australia to play in the National Basketball League over there with the Illawarra Hawks. And how you played in China in the past as well, and how are you looking forward to bringing your game over to Australia? And it's a growing market, a growing audience for basketball over in Australia. And how excited are you about the prospect and the project that's in front of you?
I mean, for me, the chance to get to play basketball, I mean, after being out a year, I'm just super excited, like super stoked. My energy level is great. It's just, I've been on the team. I've been in the NBA even 2 years before this. I sat on a team that didn't really play, you know, and I had talent. I felt I could play, but it just wasn't the right opportunity for me. So knowing that I'm going to have a chance to play on this team, be able to showcase my skill and get better while I'm out there, man, I'm excited. And to be in Illawarra with the team, with a bunch of good guards that I heard play, just can't wait to get out there. Can't wait to get back to Australia.
Yeah, and I suppose, Aaron, one stat in your career sort of stands out for me. On April 11th, 2010, you became the sixth player in NBA history to make over 200 three-pointers and over 400 assists in a single season. And you were probably renowned as a real quality three-point sort of shooter in relation to point guard. And I suppose, was that a key element of your game? And what elements would you say to young basketball players throughout Ireland and cross country to develop that sort of shot? Is it all about the rhythm or feeling, or is there certain parts in the court that you feel that you get a heat streak or a rhythm for? Or what's that sort of like as a real three-point shooter? Are there certain areas that you just sort of feel that you shoot the ball better than other areas?
Man, it starts in the summer. It starts in the summer. Developing that chemistry with your teammates, developing that trust in your teammates. That, hey, you know what? If I come down, I pull up. Shoot, there's a good chance that's gonna go in. And you know, and I think developing that chemistry in the summer is super important because you want guys to have a good vibe about it. You know what I mean? It's you know, show that, hey, I'm joking, this is what I do, this is who I am, establish who you are in the summer, and you guys are playing 5-on-5, and your team is going to encourage that. That's helping you win games. So, my biggest thing is getting the reps in the summer, that way you can carry that confidence in yourself and from your teammates into the next season. So, I'm looking forward to getting over there and getting to my team and, you know, playing hard and establishing who I am and how I play. And you know, I did that year when I did do it. Stayed in Houston the whole summer and worked on my game, and you know, was ready to go when season started.
And finally, Aaron Brooks, before I let you go, just one subject there that I forgot to mention, and I suppose we'll just mention there for the last minute or so. The whole situation with Lakers and Anthony Davis going there and LeBron James. And LeBron James brought in his cast, his good friends last year in relation to Lance Stevenson's went there, Rondo went there. It sort of didn't work out. Luke Walton paid the price. Lonzo Ball and other pieces were moved during this off-season. And is it really time now for the LeBron James Laker experiment? Does it need to make a significant breakthrough next year? And I suppose playoffs is a minimum. And will they be for LeBron James for his time in Los Angeles Lakers? If they don't make a Western Conference final, would it be seen as a failure?
I'm sure for the Lakers it will be. I don't think for LeBron, for his career, it'll be a failure.
Yeah.
He's had a kind of career, put himself up there with some of the greats. He is 34 years old, you know, and what he's trying to do is do something that hasn't really been done before. So, no, I don't think think it'll be a disappointment for him, sure, for the fans, and but I do think that he has some more good years in him, man. They had a weird team last year that didn't complement him well at all. They didn't have any shooting on the floor. LeBron works well with great shooting. That's why they kept cruising. I think this year they'll be a lot better with, of course, with AD, because that pick and roll is going to be tough to guard. They get some shooters around them. They could be a dangerous team, because it's still hard to guard LeBron with one player. And off the pick and roll with AD seems kind of automatic.
On that note, Aaron Brooks, thank you for taking the call. We wish you all the best down under in Australia for the coming year with the Illawarra Hawks. Thank you for giving your expert reflection on the NBA season and the off-season and the NBA draft. And pleasure talking to you, Aaron Brooks, and we wish you all the best in the future. Take care.
Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Thank you.